Welcome to the first tutorial on hardware here at Worship Synths, and really the only hardware that I have access to right now is my Nord, so we're going to use that, but it makes for a great tutorial platform because the synthesizer section on the Nord stage is pretty simple, and quite honestly, if you can do it on there, you can do it on just about any synth. And so, again, we're going to do Ian's McIntosh's Verby lead on hardware. So we're going to start out, if you've watched other tutorials, you know that the basic shape here is a square wave, and so here we have just kind of a triangle wave. And so we need something more like... Now, that's not very appealing all by itself. On the stage 2, we have a couple of options that we can modify with the shape knob. We can just have kind of the bare wave. That shape knob doesn't do anything. We can go and actually change the shape of the wave, so turn a square wave more into a pulse. So that's square, and then if we take it around, we get into more of a pulse wave. That's kind of actually more what we want. We have a couple other options. We could just detune a couple of waves. But that doesn't really get us the harmonics that we want. The square wave in this patch is really pretty kind of hollow sounding. That's more of a pulse wavy thing. Now we can sync them, which forces two oscillators to start at different times. One oscillator is forced to start whenever the other one does. And that gives you a really kind of hard edge sound. And actually, when I did this before, I didn't use that, but I actually kind of like that. So let's see if we make this work. And so right now, away, you're going to say that this really does not sound anything like that patch. And the first thing we need to do is beef it up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and add another oscillator. You can hear a little phasing there as the oscillators beat against each other. And I think let's leave it right about there. Next thing we need to do is trim off that kind of really abrupt attack. So we're going to go ahead and take our attack knob, take that out to like 2. And same for the release, we're going to soften that up a little bit. We don't want to mess with the decay knob. If we did that, we'll have these notes that die off. And we can make it so that happens a while later, but really we're just going to leave decay all the way up. And the notes will sound essentially as long as we press the keys. All right, the next thing we need is to turn on our filter. We have a couple options on the stage 2. The EX, there's somewhat less options, but we can still get it to work because we're still going to have our 24 decibel per octave filter, and we're going to turn that down. And we're going to turn on keyboard tracking, which opens the filter as we go up the keyboard. So shift and hit that button. And that means we need to drop it down even farther. All right. Now, Ian talks about ringing or the shimmer of that patch, and that is going to be accomplished with the resonance control. So if we leave it down, we have the same thing we've been listening to. If we turn it up, the filter is going to start to ring at whatever frequency is set by the resonance knob. I'm sorry, whatever frequency is set by the frequency knob, and the resonance knob determines how much ringing. You can make it essentially be the filter itself, the only thing that you can hear, so we're going to keep that. And this brings a little high end back that we've trimmed off with the filter. All right. So we're getting there, pretty close. The next thing we need is to add some glide back. So glide is that movement of one pitch into another, that smooth movement. and you'll just have to pick how much you like. And that seems pretty good to me. So I say altogether we're mostly there. We can do a couple of things if we want to. We could adjust the mod envelope to kind of do some fun things to the shape. Which will give it a little bit more interest. We could modify the shape with the LFO. So I'll leave those things to you to try out. We're going to move now into the rest of the sound, which is really a lot of compression, tons of it. So I'm moving off the screen here into the compression control. I've turned it on. I've turned it up to about 7, which makes it kick on basically whenever I play. Then we need the reverb. So on the Nord Stage 2, there's 2 versions of most of the reverbs. Typically one is a bit darker, one's a bit brighter. We're going to go to Hall 1, which should be brighter. And we're going to turn it all the way up to wet. So that's kind of the basic sound, and if we wanted to, we could throw the EQ on there and maybe trim off a little bit of the high end because it's a little bit bright. But you have kind of the core sound right here now. And then Hall 2 is right there. So, you know, kind of we have got I would say the essence of the sound. Certainly you guys can tweak it, get a little bit closer if you like. The copy of these patches will be available for download at the website. So thank you very much. Case of Glass for Worship Synths.